more shocked than anything, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't more shocked of him dying. I was more shocked at him.
Welcome to the Undercurrent. I'm Lauren Windsor. We're here at CPAC with the notorious anti-tax crusader Grover Norquist. I say notorious because you have a reputation amongst progressive circles for really hammering down on taxes, holding Republicans to your pledge. Can you explain your pledge?
Sure. The Taxpayer Protection Pledge is something that I started sharing with incumbent congressmen, senators, candidates for office back in 1986. It's been on for 25 years, and it's a commitment by an elected official or a candidate that he or she, it's a commitment to the voters of that state and the American people, in case they move, that they will oppose and vote against all efforts to raise taxes. So no net tax increase. I put it together with the president's help, Reagan, to help pass what became the 1986 Tax Act, and that was reducing rates, broadening the base, revenue neutral. So tax reform is always consistent with the pledge. Tax increases are not.
So, as a part of reform, would you support closing loopholes?
Yes, as long as you reduced rates by the same amount. I'm for many fewer deductions, credits, loopholes, and having as low a marginal tax rate as possible.
So, in an ideal world, Grover Norquist utopia, what would the tax rate be?
Lower. What Samuel Gompers said when they said, what do working people want? He said more. What do we want? Lower taxes, more limited government. There's no magic number, and you just keep moving towards a freer society and then see how things go. I mean, you can make a certain number of things you could obviously point to that perhaps don't work or could be reformed, but you want the government to be less costly to average men and women trying to get ahead in life.
Are there any specific budget expenditures that you'd entirely eliminate as not a function of the government?
Occupying Iraq and Afghanistan for 10 years, probably not listed in the Constitution as one of the things you're supposed to do. And I think you can look at a lot of the expenditures and decide, as they have in Washington, to try and reduce the total number of government employees through attrition, not firing anybody, but just replacing every second guy to get the overhead numbers down. It's what the private sector did in the 80s. Quickly. You could do it slowly with the federal government, but you just don't need some of the overhead that we have now in a world with the internet.
How many pages is the tax code?
Thousands. And you've got the tax code and then the laws which impose the tax code. You save about 1,000 pages of the tax code if you got rid of depreciation schedules and went to expensing, which would both reduce the cost of investment for new jobs and get rid of 1,000 pages. So that's an example. You could save another 1,000 pages by taking all of the various savings programs and just having a lifetime savings account or retirement savings account. So if you wanted to save tax-free for whatever reason, you could do that. We've got dozens of different proposals, dozens of different
solutions?
Programs. They could be collapsed into one or two.
Certainly. Last question.
Sure.
So with the sequester, would you advocate repealing it? Are you pro-sequester, anti-sequester?
Oh. The amount of money saved by the sequester is a wonderful idea and not negotiable. The President agreed to it, the House and Senate agreed to it, it's law of the land. You could give each department more flexibility in how they deal with the sequester. I'd like the sequester to be twice as large and twice as flexible.
Have I been hypnotized to believe in lies with the monologue, questioning God like Habakkuk, cause the odds keep stacking up? Where is the illumination for the